Alright, in this video we are going to be doing a devil fruit tier list. I hope this is a good tier list. I think it's pretty good. I like to rank everything off of both PvP and PvE. I like to take both into consideration, so that is how this tier list is done. If there are some exceptions, I'll say that, but for the most part, that's how this tier list is taken into consideration. So for example, if something has a really like the best PvP but horrible PvE, it would probably get A tier. You know what I mean? Like, if it's like a 10 in one thing but like a 6 in another thing, I'd try to average it out as best I can or as close as I can. So that's how this tier list is going to be done, just for those curious. So starting off in F tier, we have Kilo. Literally no use. It can fly, yes, but it has no PvE capability and no PvP capability. I don't think you can attack while you fly, maybe except for M1s, I'm not positive. And stamina drain is incredibly high, and the only damaging skill it has is an ult. So, horrible, zero purpose, boom. Alright, now on to D tier. Again, Suke. Close to zero purpose, but it actually does have a purpose. Whether or not that purpose is very viable or not is debatable, but I had to give it some credit for you being able to at least do something with it in both PvP and PvE, just a little bit. In PvE more. So for a reasonable stamina drain, NPCs just won't see you. You can attack them all you want, they won't recognize you, they won't fight back. That's pretty great. Well, great is an overstatement, but you get the point. For a common, it's pretty great. And in PvP, you can kind of throw off your opponent, you know, they can't see what skill you're winding up, which is also pretty decent. The only con to that is observation hockey. They can still definitely tell exactly what you're going to do, but you can just knock that away. But yeah, so D tier, just for the minimal amount of effort, I just had to put it above Kilo. Alright, so now onto our actual first real tier, C tier. I put Gum in C tier because I figured Gum is solid. Like, it's decent all around, but it's lacking in PvP and in PvE. It's not great. Its damage is okay. Its skills are okay. It's given a pretty good guard break. The guard break's pretty easily PBable, and it's the only one it has other than the ult. And the ult is also pretty mediocre. I mean, for a rare, it's not bad, but like, it's just not great either. There's not a lot to it. It has a solid mobility move, I guess. It's not like the best, but it's pretty much, this fruit could be summed up as that's pretty much how you could describe this fruit, just all around. It's just Alright, then you have Bari. Bari is actually a really solid rare for PvP, very solid for PvP. You could just rely on oh wait, is it solid for PvP anymore? I think they nerfed stun time in the air after up tilts. I think that made it better, actually, because then you could drop the cage and people would actually fall with the cage, instead of before how people would sometimes fall slower than the cage and then end up landing on top of it. So I think that nerf, like that and that stun time nerf for up tilts actually helped Bari, I think. But yeah, Bari is fairly solid for PvP, pretty trash for PvE, not gonna lie. So yeah, it kind of just slides itself in C tier. Spin is the same thing. It's given one true combo extender that does decent damage, but that's literally all it really offers to the table. Everything else about it is kind of mid trash ish. So actually no, it's pretty much trash. Yeah, everything else it offers is trash. Its ult doesn't do great damage at all, and it's a grab, so 0 AoE capabilities to it. So yeah, Spin finds itself as well in C tier for the same exact reasons as Bari, pretty much. Good PvP capabilities, bad PvE capabilities. Our first really big tier, B tier. Let's start off by covering Horo. Horo doesn't have a lot of PvE potential, but it does have some because of its ability to make your soul leave your body and then do M1, so you can solo dungeons with it, though it is you're gonna have to do some weird quirky build. It's still a thing you can do, and a majority of its skills are pretty much useless in PvP except for the first one where you stun the opponent. I can't remember what it's called, but where you just pass a ghost through them. The ult is also pretty good, but yeah, a lot of its skills aren't going to be very useful. You're kind of just going to end up relying on the stun a whole lot, which is good. I mean, it makes for a true combo extender, so that's always nice, and it also has fairly solid PvE capabilities, sliding it into B tier. Then you have Zushi. Now Zushi was really good for PvP. Now it's just like alright for PvP because you can't true combo pull into an up tilt, so you're like not capable of having any true combo extenders with Zushi. Also, Afro dashing got nerfed, so therefore, you know, Afro dashing into gravity dominance, using that as a true combo extender, kind of out of the question. So really, you're left with just catching people off guard with pull and meteors that are very easy to PB for people who know how. And the meteors cooldowns are too long, and the stamina drain is too much for it to be viable for actual PvE. And also, they don't have hyper armor, so its PvE capabilities also, like, they're there, but they aren't the greatest. So it just, like, I would describe its PvP and PvE both as just B tier, to be honest. So yeah, it's well rounded now. It used to be really lopsided more in the PvP region. It used to be really good, and then its PvE was just incredibly lackluster, but now both are just kind of mid. So yeah. Next you have Hiei. Now Hiei actually got balance changes within the last little update where we got Ito, and Hiei's ult Ice Age now is significantly faster, which is really good. Very good buff, because it makes Ice Age a way better ult than it used to be. It used to be a pretty bad ult, I'm not gonna lie, but now it's actually good. Sure, it doesn't have hyper armor, but it just goes out so fast that doesn't really matter. As long as you're not chucking it out in point blank range in front of the person you're fighting, then you should be set. But yeah, Hiei, stun based fruit. Its PvP isn't real. I mean, its PvE isn't really there, but its PvP more than makes up for it. It has really good PvP, a lot of stun time. Its skills aren't too hard to land. It has a lot of combo potential. Really good kit. So if anything, it's just a better Zushi, but I think it has less PvE potential than Zushi and more PvP potential than Zushi, which is why they find themselves in the same tier. But I would rather use Hiei than Zushi personally. Next we have Gura. Gura, again, similarly, no PvE potential. Well, not no, but low PvE potential and a very high PvP. Not very high, but high PvP potential. All of its kit are guard breaks. It does high damage. The only con being that it has incredibly high cooldowns, which makes it pretty bad for grinding. It makes it difficult to do dungeons, and that's kind of a big con. But with the skills in arena, it is actually really nice having a kit made of fully guard breaks. Who knew? So yeah, B tier. Then we have Bomb. Bomb is a rare, obviously, and I think it is actually really good for both grinding. Well, it's not great for grinding, but it's good for grinding, and it's actually surprisingly solid for PvP, so that's nice. I don't know if I should have put Bomb in A tier or if I should just leave it in B tier, but I think B tier is good enough, because yes, it is really good for grinding, but you're mainly like, you could be doing a lot better. There's better options. So yeah, it's not phenomenal for grinding, but it'll do it. So yeah, but in PvP, I personally think is really solid. So B tier, kind of bordering the edge of A tier, I think. But yeah, I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm repeating myself a lot, but there's not a lot to say on a lot of these fruits. They're kind of all similar in the sense that they're either going to be really good for one thing or not so great for the other thing. So yeah. Alright, our next tier is A tier. Now this take might be a little different than what you guys generally see, but I put Ito in A tier because yes, I know Its grinding isn't great because all you can really rely on is overheated whip and birdcage. I'm aware of that, but you can still rely on those. They're not bad skills to rely on for grinding, so it can still get the job done. But I think its PvP is absolutely phenomenal. Amazing PvP. So that's why I'm saying it goes into A tier. When you have a true combo extender, and then you have penachromatic strings, which also can sometimes land another true M1 combo, and then you have an ult like birdcage, which is literally true to land. If you just chuck it out, you will like land it. Overheated whip being such a solid guard break. Really the only bad skill it has is its first one, like string bullet, but even then that's not really bad, it's just mid. So I think for PvE it's super solid. I mean, wait, let me rephrase. Its PvP is super solid, but then its PvE it's bearable, it's decent, I guess. So that's why I'm saying it slides itself into A tier. Then we have Marrow, which is kind of a shocker that I'm throwing it into A tier, but you can grind with it, and it's PvP. I'm putting it in A tier simply for the fact that it's a rare that can be as good as it is. It literally, like, what's it called, is so good for PvP. Burst is phenomenal. It, like, you can land it from far away and still punish because of the insane amount of stun it has. Charm is a true combo extender. Its ult does decent damage for the amount of skill points that you put in. Pistol can even find its uses sometimes off of that minimal amount of stun that it has. It has a very high combo potential. Using it for PvE isn't out of the question. I have heard people say that it's used for like leveling, not for grinding dungeons, but it actually can be used for leveling fairly well if you rely on a high devil fruit build and use Love Wave off cooldown, because Love Wave's cooldown is fairly low. Then you can use it well for leveling. So its grinding sure isn't preferable. It is still solid enough, I guess, but I think its PvP is once again really good. All right, Suna is kind of the opposite. Its PvP it's good. It's not great, it's good, because they nerfed it. So now Desert Cutlass isn't a guard break, meaning that it lost a true combo extender, and they nerfed the, stun off of up tilt combos, obviously, so that also hurt that as well. But you're still given an okay guard break like Frenzy. Spada is not a good guard break at all. Railgun is a decent ult. Storm, if landed, which is difficult to do, but if landed, deals insane damage. All of these problems are fixed in PvE. Desert Storm is incredibly easy to land and does a lot of damage. Railgun is high AoE, decent damage. Spada also can hit multiple enemies at once and deals decent damage. So realistically, even Frenzy has a tiny AoE. If landed on one opponent, the slam can hit multiple. Cutlass, once again, can hit multiple, so every single skill can hit multiple enemies, all dealing decent damage. Storm definitely carries, and it's given a flight move. That flight move absolutely carries when it comes to PvE, grinding, dungeons, leveling, everything. It is absolutely amazing for grinding. Its PvP could be better, which is why I just had to slide it into A tier, but it really borders S tier. If its PvP was just a bit better, it would definitely be an S tier. All right, let's speed this up a little bit. Next, we have Tori. Now, Tori would be an S tier if it was just a little different, to be honest. Really, all you do is you just rely on healing. It has no real potential to itself, no real combo potential. It has a minimal combo potential. Its damage is decent, but you're really just going to end up relying on Phoenix Burst. It has like a couple good builds, but those are just going to get reused. If the fruit had a little bit more variety to it, it would definitely find itself to S tier, but it's just the fact that there's not a lot you can do with it. It is really good for grinding dungeons, though. You can honestly just fly up, look down, and spam Phoenix Burst, which the flames also heal you. The ult also hits multiple enemies at once, so soloing dungeons with it is fairly easy. Along with the fact that you can heal your friends, so if you're doing dungeons with your friends or doing bosses with your friends, that is a great support to have. It's PvP. If you don't want to rely on healing a whole lot the entire time, it is not very great. The PvP just isn't really there. You can rely on healing to full a lot, and then its PvP is really good, obviously, because you're just being like kind of scummy. If you're gonna refer to the fruit like that, then I would probably put it in S tier. But yeah, if we're just using the fruit in a moral way, then it's only A tier. Pika, its PvP isn't really there. There's not a lot of combo potential. All of its skills have windups. Its guard break isn't very good, but its PvP is absolutely amazing. Sure, it has windups, but the skills have hyper armor. No need for combo potential in PvE. So you can easily solo dungeons with it. You can easily grind bosses with it when relying with Light Ray. You can easily level with it when using Light Ray. Flight is incredibly fast, so traversing around the map, avoiding bosses, flying away, spamming skills in dungeons, easy. PvP, not so great, but it's still usable. Like, it's still good for PvP. It's just not great for PvP. So that's why it also finds itself in A tier. Now, on to the best fruits in the game, S tier. Let's start off with Goro. Goro, the only con to Goro that I can find is high stamina drain. It takes a lot of stamina, but you're given a true combo extender, high damage dealing skills, high AoE skills, fairly fair windups, and a high AoE, high damage ult. So when you put all of that together, you get an S tier fruit. It's amazing for PvP because of the true combo extender, and it's amazing for PvE because of its high damage, high AoE skills. What more could you ask for? The only reason I kind of put it in the back of S tier was because, high stamina drain is a bit of an issue, but other than that, really, really good. And I didn't think the high stamina drain was enough, considering the fact you can just put more skill points in stamina, and you can equip accessories that deal with stamina. Next, I have Mera. High AoE, high damage with a flight skill, and it has a really good guard break, but the guard break has a lot of knockback on it. So it's not a punishable guard break, but it's pretty much free damage if landed, and the ult is also pretty good, if not really good. It's a better Goro ult. So yeah, high AoE, high damage, that whole shebang. Again, super solid. Firefly Lights gets true in M1s and it does insane damage. High Ken can honestly be chucked out randomly and you'll probably land it half the time. Flame Pillar is literally free damage. And then the ult is, well, it's pretty good. It takes some skill to get used to, I guess. It takes some getting used to, takes some skill to land. But yeah, and then the flight skill is useless for PvP, but for PvE, it is absolutely amazing. I would say that this is the best grinding fruit in the game, Mera, because of its high damage, high AoE, and having a flight skill. Either that or Suna are the best grinding fruits in the game. But yeah, Mera also has really, really good PvP. Next is probably the best PvP fruit in the game, being Magu. Magu has really good PvP, mainly because Eruption is a guard break with hyper armor that goes out quickly, and if combined with the right weapons or if comboed into properly, also a combo starter. So you could run it with a you could honestly do high M1 medium damage Devil Fruit build, and Eruption will still do a lot of damage. And even if that's not for you, you can run a high Devil Fruit build for both PvP and PvE, land an Eruption, and then chuck out a true Hound after, because it is true to land Hound after landing Eruption. And you could just get an insane amount of damage out, hundreds of damage just off of those two skills, and all because Eruption is insanely easy to land. It's fairly difficult to PB as well, and so the ult is solid. Hound is pretty decent, Fist is pretty decent. Eruption genuinely carries this fruit a lot in PvP, but the only thing keeping this from being the ultimate best fruit in the game is really like its PvE capabilities just aren't phenomenal. There's no flight skill, so that's a bit annoying. Its AoE isn't massive, it's big, but it isn't massive, and its skills aren't the easiest to get off, I guess. So yeah, that's my tier list. I hope you guys like it. I hope I don't get too much hate. I hope you guys can agree with a majority of it. I don't think I made too many hot takes in this tier list. So I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.